Hey, welcome back to the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge, and today we have Exonerated. This is a documentary about the exoneration of the man and the men along with him who were exonerated for the murder of Malcolm X in 1965 in Harlem. Now, this is not a fun documentary. This is pretty sobering, pretty serious, and it's doesn't necessarily just deal with the details of the day and things that led up to the assassination, the murder of Malcolm X, a Nation of Islam leader. He was a I want to say this properly. He was a strong voice in the lives of much of the black and Muslim communities, and especially in New York and around the world. Actually, he was influential. He was traveling, and he was stirring up trouble that would make certain people in power of a certain complexion nervous, unsettled. Whereas Martin Luther King Jr. Called for peace many times, Malcolm X was not so forgiving. Let's just say he did proclaim peace for those who were peaceful to him and his people, but they were willing to express violence for those who expressed violence to them. Some of his speeches are included in this documentary, but the point of this documentary is, well, it's a profile and it's an interview with Muhammad Abdul Aziz, who was the primary person who was accused of murdering Malcolm X. He knew he was innocent. Everybody else knew he was innocent, and normally you'd think that if anybody thought he was guilty when he was in prison, those who were sympathetic to Malcolm X in prison would have probably sought to harm him, and that was not the case because people weren't stupid. They knew he was set up, and it's a failure of our justice system and everything else. But this is really more about the wheels coming off of everything at the moment of that murder. I'm not going to tell you everything because honestly, you should watch the documentary to understand history and to understand how this miscarriage of justice happened and why a man who was innocent spent 20 years in prison, at least, before he was exonerated. So there's a full-on interview with him throughout this, and to see this man's cool, calm demeanor despite the things that happened to him is astonishing. It's unsettling to see. I don't know if I would have handled it as well, but he's had a good number of decades to think upon his situation. It shows how it affected his family. Uh, it shows how it affected. There was interviews with Malcolm X's daughter and a number of other people who were involved in the investigation and everything in that time. So many years after the fact, it's yeah, it's not difficult to watch in the sense, but it's a shameful thing that something so simple, something so clear, even though the forensics and everything else in that time was nowhere near what we have today. Everything was kind of just casually messed up so that they could arrest the people they felt they needed to arrest in order to make things go away. And we discover exactly why the police and the justice system pretty much said, "Oh yeah, those are the guys. Well, I guess we got them," and gave up because they had people embedded within Malcolm's people within the meetings, and to people who were there witnessing his murder, and they knew who killed him, and they did nothing because to do so would be to provide proof that they had someone watching him at all times. Yeah, so it's not going to be a fun Disney Plus experience, but I think it's a necessary thing to understand this piece of history when it comes to how justice is not a scale that's even, that does not balance for all. Still, even 1965, and still in 2022. This is definitely something worthwhile checking out. This is also on Hulu, I believe, and also I think this also references a documentary from 2021, which is which is made from a book called, I think it's called The Murder of Malcolm X. But if you watch it, you'll get all that information in there. It's worth checking out. So, yeah, that's all I can really tell you here. It was really hard to find something like to get more details on IMDb, or at least links that would link to anything other than the videos themselves. So I really am shorthanded in explaining this, but the documentary explains itself. So yeah, if you're interested in Black history, not just Black history, but history, this is necessary viewing, and you get to see justice gone wrong and justice barely made right in the case of this man. So let's pick tomorrow's episode.
456.
456. 456. Well, this should be pretty easy. Pretty simple. I don't think it's a series. I think it's it's one, but I could be completely wrong. This is a little bit more lighthearted than what we just watched, but we're gonna watch Take Two with Phineas and Ferb. That's a night and day kind of difference here. Take Two with Phineas and Ferb. So if it's a series, we'll watch a couple, or maybe if there's only a few, we'll watch them all. Or if it's just one, hey, that's a quick and easy day for me. Take Two with Phineas and Ferb on the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge tomorrow. See you then.